I was just going to study that was done saying that there's been, well, let me start that over because usually the first couple words get clipped for some reason. I was looking at a study that suggested or stated that 80% compliance on the average of every country for the mystery juice. Now, taking that there's a portion of those 80% that had to be coerced or forced or threatened into taking it, and you take that out, what's that, maybe 20%, maybe more. I don't even know what that number would be, but it's certainly significant. It's not insignificant. Okay, we're gonna walk this way because I don't want to walk through that clusterfuck down there. It's certainly significant. So we can say, I mean, just conservatively, I guess, they have 75. We'll take out 5%. No, it's got to be more than that. Point being, quite a few people submitted to taking the mystery juice. And it is a mystery because they can't tell you what's in it. The doctors can't tell you what's in it because they need plausible deniability. When you get one of these things that they're originally calling blood clots, but they're, you've seen some of them, they appear to be more like organic structures. A mix of perhaps nanotechnology in the body's regular processes working together to create some kind of thing that is blocking all kind. Well, they're finding them in the arteries, which normally when you get clotting, they're not in the arteries. I think they're in the blood vessels. They're in the vessels that you get them. So they need to come up with a new terminology for what these things are, because they don't adhere to the definition of blood clots. Although, if it becomes more of a widespread talking point, they'll just change the definition of clot. We've seen them do that with a lot of things over the past few years. The definition of pandemic, the definition of a wide array of terminology that will make them more pliable so that they can use them in their narrative. But it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it was kind of aggravating to get through it the past couple years without taking the mystery juice. There are some in my family that held out, like myself. There are some who didn't, and we're pressuring the others, of course. But you know, I felt at one point that I'm like, how long can we avoid this before they really make the rubber hit the road in a significant way, so that, you know, we're forced to. I mean, there was at one point we were going to leave the island and go somewhere else to escape the pressure, because it seems like we're being boxed in through work and different things like that. And then suddenly, like magic, it was all over. That pretend conflict in Ukraine popped off. Uh-oh, tough guy coming through. There he goes. Don't mess with him. Yeah, don't mess with that guy. So, yeah, and then it just vanished. It went away. No one talked about it. No one cared about it. In the early days of the fake war, in fact, if you brought it up, you were kind of admonished. Like, there's a war on, don't you understand? Yeah, so point me on a map where this country is again. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, it all just went away. And, I mean, it could come back, and it probably will come back. I'll probably face with the same thing again, of course. They do these things like that, it's a trial run. But the one who's on me for it all the time was my therapist. Well, he's not really a therapist, he's more just a script writer. He's a doctor. He's a doctor actually of some renown in this area. I think he's in his 90s. He's traveled the world to learn his doctoring thing. He's traveled the world and the 7 seas. I guess he was looking for something. But seems pretty knowledgeable about a lot of stuff. And he's been pushing the mystery juice on me. He can't tell me what's in it, because he's not allowed to know. They got to give these doctors plausible deniability if you take it and explode. And he knows about the dangers, because in the beginning he would deny there was any danger at all. But as time went on, they had to let some stories out because there's just too many. And they still come in every day. I mean, I keep track of it all. You know, just a visit on a friendly basket weaving forum usually has an up-to-date on some of the more wild stories, or the more ironic stories in the case of, you know, people who try to persuade others in a evil way, meeting their end with the same thing that they were trying to force on others. So now my doctor knows, right, that it's possible, right? So he's still advocating for me to take it. So, in essence, he's telling me to take something that may kill me. It might not, though. Yeah, but what if it does? Okay, what if I cave under pressure of his, because a couple of times he did talk about how if I wasn't up to my Jackson, I wouldn't be able to see him once he started resuming regular, you know, appointments at his place. I didn't let that bother me. That didn't work on me either. I'll deal with that whenever it happens, you know. It's a shitty thing to hold over someone's head, though. I get one medication from him, Effexor, which is very dangerous and awful, and I don't suggest anyone ever take it. I've been unable, not unwilling, but unable to get off the medication for the past 6 years. Every time I try to start coming off it, I'll have some sort of terrible episode and have to go back on it. You know, the wife will be like, please just take it. Just take it. So I've tried to count down backwards with I break the capsule open. I'll pull the capsule off. I'll take the little balls, little white balls. The alchemy, the magic, the black magic. I take them all out of there. And I try to reduce the number of balls that are in a capsule. This usually goes okay until I have some kind of incident. And then just for safety purposes, I go back to full strength. And the process begins again. And I don't like this. It sucks, because what I am is I'm this can be held over my head. And he has held it over my head. As far as like, well, you know, I can't write this. They just don't give a fuck. Like, these guys, like, they don't give a fuck. Like, once they get that piece of paper on their wall, they have to do what the gang says. And if they don't do what the gang says, they're in big trouble. They lose that piece of paper. They can't practice anymore. They can't make any money. And God forbid you still owe money on that piece of paper. That piece of paper should basically just say, I'm closer to Satan. That's all it is. And then the more fancy the paper, and from the higher level of education that is from, should just say, I'm closer to Satan. You know, those people that just go through the fucking thing. They don't care. Scumbags here. I'm closer to Satan. You know, that's all it should say, because it's what it is. They have less freedom. They have less ability to think on their own. They can't. They have to, they're beholden to the gang, you know. And that's the world of peer review. Before you You get your piece of paper, you have to submit a paper on something that is then peer reviewed, which means someone else in the gang looks at it and says, yeah, this guy, he's all right for the gang, he'll play fucking ball. And that's all that is. But as far as this specifically, I'm going to put the phone down, I'm going to talk, just so I don't put this in people's faces. He doesn't really, he doesn't know anything about it. He can't know anything about it. None of the people who administer it can know anything about it. It's literally a fucking mystery juice. And the thing I always find funny is like these health people. I got a lot of friends that are really health-minded. They work out a lot, go to the gym, or they eat only certain kinds of food, or a very strict diet of this, a diet of that. And the second they were able to put this mystery juice in them, they fucking lined up. And it's a complete mystery. Like, they're so concerned about what they put in their body, but when it comes to this, when it comes to the Bill Gates juice, dude, just trust me. Meanwhile, Bill Gates' father was the, air quotes, father of modern eugenics. His whole deal, that whole family's deal, was how to depopulate the earth to have a more palatable world for a certain amount of people to live in. He's the guy. He's not even a doctor, but people are listening to him like he is a doctor. He's not. He's a guy playing a role of a guy that started a computer company. He's just another one of their actors, you know. One of the actors. And it's a spell. It's some kind of, the thing is, I always talk about hypnosis and suggestion as being lesser magic. Because it is. It's lesser magic. It's chicken shit magic. And it's used ubiquitously here in this realm. So, as much as I denigrate the form, you know, it works. I mean, shit, why work up anything harder? Why work up any kind of magic that's going to be more taxing on the adepts? Just roll out this this rat chew magic, because it works. Lesser magic. It's called lesser magic for a reason. It's being used to control the population. So maybe they can change the definition of that too, because it's certainly a lot more effective than the name implies, right? So I got to see him again via Duo, which is like a Zoom type thing, you know. So I'll be seeing him the 5th, a few days from now, and I think I'm just gonna fuck with them. It's not nice, you know. It's not nice. I have a couple times. I fucked with him about a couple times. Because I have the high ground. I have the high ground because I know more about it than he does. I have more knowledge on the subject than him. He has zero knowledge on it. He just knows that's his gang wants you to take this, and I'm assuming he gets some sort of credit for getting me on it, because he's so intent on getting me on this and talking about it all the time. And why don't you? And he starts off every session with a reading of the millions of people. 6 gazillion died tonight of Omicron. He's a German guy. He's got an accent, so you know. 6 million have died this afternoon from Omicron. 6 million died yesterday from Omicron. And it is projected 6 million will die tomorrow from Omicron. That is 666. Moo-ho-ho-ho. No, it's like that. He'll start off everything with whatever fake name they have this week for the thing, Delta, Omicron, fucking Decepticon. The Decepticon, the Optimus Prime has killed over 6 billion people today, this afternoon. It's funny. Like, I mean, it is funny, but it's also horrifying, you know? Yeah, they're into those sort of Transformers names. So I think I'm just gonna mess with him. One time he was gleeful about how you're gonna have papers to even travel. He used to say, you know, you're going to need papers. And it's like, dude, you shouldn't use the word papers, because you can't throw a slow ball over the fucking plate like that for me, because you know I'm gonna dog it. And he's like, yeah, you need your papers to get. I'm like, oh, so it's like a Fourth Reich. And I started going into these different fantasy scenarios of people asking for papers. It's, oh, it's, you know, it's just like Germany. And he was not happy about this. He's like, you know, there are people who would not like what you are saying. I don't have a lot of respect for him. It sucks. I used to. I mean, he's useless as a doctor because he can't hear. He often repeats the same thing over and over again. If I told you how many times he told me about ginkgo biloba. The only good thing about him is he does try to push you into holistic healing, which is good. He got me off Adderall. He got me off Xanax. He got me off Xanax. Like, he got me off everything. So I can't. I mean, I'll always be grateful for that kind of stuff. I was kind of ready to come off that shit anyway. It wasn't doing me any good. I'd been on those things for years. Half of my prescription was uppers, and the other half was downers. I could never fill a script without one of those know-it-alls who didn't want to go the full fucking X amount of years to be a doctor. They decided to quit halfway and just be a nagging asshole behind a counter at CVS. They always pulled me over. You know, these interact each other. I'm like, yeah, I know. So why do you get Xanax and Ativan? I'm like, well, Ativan is for breakthrough anxiety. Xanax, even though it has a fast onset, it's not as quick as Ativan. You know, I'd learn them a little bit, because these guys don't take this shit. You know, these guys don't take this shit. The doctor doesn't take it. The know-it-alls in the white suits don't take it. They don't know anything about it. I'm the foremost authority in this room on this shit, because I've been on this stuff for years, right? Like, I know about it, you don't. That's not something I have to deal with a lot in my life. Usually I'm not the one that knows the most about something. But when I do, and when it has to do with my health, and I have some fucking asshole telling me, no. It's like, yeah, well, no, you know? And they do that for everybody. A lot of people they see the white coat, and they think, oh, I better do what this person's saying. Well, they have a white coat. Obviously, they're some kind of doctor. They're smarter than me, right? That's what people think. So they just take whatever they give them, and they think they have their best interest in mind. They don't have your best interest in mind. They go home, and from the doctors to the pharmacists, they go home and they have dinner, and they forget about you. They don't care about you. They don't care if you die. I mean, they'll lose the customer in the insurance, but they don't care if you die. They're not your friend, you know? So you kind of, unless you're prepared to be your own advocate, you're going to be fucked. I know, because I was on both sides of it. I spent probably the first half of my duration as a mental health patient basically just listening to the people in the codes. Like, well, they went to school for this, they know what they're doing. And they almost killed me a number of times. It made my quality of life so bad that, I mean, it wasn't worth getting up, leaving the house. Their metric of success is measured by how much trouble the patient is causing. If I'm just laying in bed all day, well, then I'm not doing anything wacky, right? I'm not saying anything that may upset people around me. You know, like perhaps those white clouds in the sky have chemicals in them. You don't say anything crazy like that. You're being quiet. You're laying in bed. There's a TV on, which is always good. TV's good for you, right? Keep that running. And make sure someone feeds you, and you go to the bathroom, and that's success. That's success for them. And then having, you know, you hooked on a number of different drugs, a number of different pharmaceutical drugs. The insurance is getting paid. The doctor's appointments are getting paid. Everybody's happy. And this will just continue for as long as they can make it continue until you're dead. What's up, man? And that's it. That's it. You're at cross purposes with these people. You want the very best for yourself, I think, right? And they want the very worst for you. It's not personal though. Like they don't want we want what's worse for this guy. They just circumstantially want what's worse for you. They don't even know your name. They don't care. They'll know your name if you're standing in their office because they're reading it on the sheet that's in front of them. But other than that, they don't care. They don't care. They're just thinking about where they're getting takeout. An uplifting way to start my day. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.